Hello, dear friends. Opinion piece. Banks are already using QFS. 100 central banks connected. Ensures more privacy online. Transactions are more secure. Advantages of the quantum internet network. Quantum is already in use. Quantum internet is here to stay. Quantum communication satellites already in operation. Privacy is the most valued aspect of the digital euro. The Treasury is looking for ways to keep a closer eye on cryptocurrencies. Gold has risen to its highest level since January. Bitcoin, a weak dollar, and the Fed take more shine of gold. Let's start. Financial institutions are already using quantum communication networks to make interbank transactions more secure, and quantum communication satellites are already up and running as a first step to extend these networks globally. First, the Swiss reports. This confirmed the news that the QFS quantum financial system is already being secretly applied, even if we users do not notice it in our daily transactions. In fact, 100 central banks were connected to the quantum financial system with their own transfer validation system backed by gold and natural resources that is already 90% operational, leaving only the old fiduciary system with 10% of its power, especially with the entry into force of the Basel Agreements, as reported by Rafapal. The quantum internet network leads to greater privacy offline transactions and will be a stronger guarantee of the funds used in each transaction. An algorithm that could achieve this level of security was recently successfully applied at the Connect Center at Trinity College Dublin. This allows for absolutely secret communications, as a knowledge shared between two parties cannot be discovered by a third party. Google reported in mid-2019 that it would have achieved quantum supremacy using for this purpose a new type of quantum computer vastly faster than any personal PC. This announcement made it clear that we're entering a new era of incredible computational power. We are no longer talking about a quantum supercomputer like IBM's, but about a more secure and better synchronized quantum internet that can get the most out of every machine. It's not necessary for each personal user to change computers. Instead, it will be enough for him or her to connect to a central quantum computer to solve any problem. Instead of solving several variants of a problem one by one, each quantum computer can handle all problems at the same time and give an immediate solution because its computational capacity is infinite compared to any personal computer. New technologies are transforming the way financial services are offered. Therefore, financial inclusion must go hand in hand with digital inclusion, and a solid financial education is fundamental in this path. These were some of the conclusions of the experts who participated in the third session of EduFin Summit 2021, the Global Financial Education Summit organized by BBVA's Center for Financial Education and Skills. Participants addressed the challenges of financial vulnerability and solutions to reduce it. Greater inclusion reduces vulnerability and helps to lift people out of poverty. Cryptocoins. Bitcoin, a weak dollar, and the Federal Reserve take the shine of gold. After 4.5 months of highs, the price at which gold is trading managed to consolidate thanks to a weak dollar, the poor health of cryptocurrencies and uncertainty surrounding the Federal Reserve plans. Gold settles at its highest level since January. Gold held near its highest level in more than 4 months, amid signs that investors are becoming more bullish on the precious metal. Gold futures have rallied on Monday, with prices slowly moving toward resistance at $1,900 an ounce. A weakness in the dollar and treasury yields, along with volatility in Bitcoin, contribute to the metal's finish at the highest level since early January. Gold has posted 3 consecutive weekly gains, bringing it closer to erasing losses for the year after prices plunged in the first 3 months. The metal has advanced as dollar shrinks in treasury yields, and demand for bullion as a store of value is rising as inflation concerns threaten to undermine economic growth. Bitcoin plunged again on Sunday. Bitcoin, the most widely used cryptocurrency, plunged 20% on Sunday to hover around $33,200, losing 49% from an all-time high in April of $64,869. Nearly $1 trillion just volatilized from the cryptocurrency market. $1 trillion. China gives Bitcoin no respite. Bitcoin extends its weekend slide, rising to the brink of 40% in losses already suffered in less than 2 weeks. China is once again putting pressure on the cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrencies bounce back after Sunday's plunge. Cryptocurrencies rebound on Monday, regaining ground lost during a series of weekend sell-offs that was fueled by fresh signs of a Chinese crackdown on the magic sector. IRS seeks ways to police cryptocurrencies. The Internal Revenue Service Digital Forensics team is looking at cracking tools for cryptocurrency wallets, with the goal of mastering cybersecurity research into measured, repeatable, and consistent digital forensic processes. Digital Euro Survey. The European Central Bank published a comprehensive analysis of its public consultation on a digital euro. The analysis broadly confirms our initial findings. What citizens and professionals expect most from such a digital currency is privacy, 43%, followed by security, 18%, and the ability to pay throughout the euro area, 11%, without additional cost, 9%, and without an internet connection, 8%. Economy. Wall Street closes in green and the Dow Jones rises 0.54%. Wall Street closed in green on Monday, and its main indicator, the Dow Jones Industrials, rose 0.54% in a day marked by the rebound of technology companies benefiting from the economic reopening. Tech stocks rise, but yields cool. U.S. stocks rose Monday, with both the S&P 500 and Nasdaq up more than 1% as pullback in Treasury yields helped lift expensive stocks in sectors such as technology, as investors try to gauge the path of inflation. Oil prices rise. Oil prices rose on Monday as traders showed optimism that the market can absorb any Iranian oil that comes to market. if Western talks with Tehran lead to the lifting of sanctions. Fed believes it can have strong economy, job growth and stable inflation. The tension between tight labor markets and rising prices could pose a growing problem for the Federal Reserve officials who have bet on aggressive monetary policy in the belief that they can avoid the conflict between bringing back employment and keeping inflation under control. Big banks look for a rebound in credit card revenue. Big banks are prepared for credit card balances to start rising again this year as restrictions ease and stimulus controls stop coming, setting the industry up for a hit to one of its most profitable businesses. Investor opposition to zero pay. Investors have rejected a record number of executive compensation plans in non-binding votes from listed companies this year, objecting to pay increases and the loosening of performance targets in the wake of the crisis. DeSantis signs bill against big tech censorship of Florida residents. Governor Ron DeSantis signed it into law a bill, the first of its kind in the U.S., that allows Florida residents to sue big tech platforms. Spain. Morocco accuses Spain of creating the crisis. Moroccan Foreign Minister Nasser Bourita said Sunday that there is no contact with Spain since the outbreak of this current crisis, and reproached Spain for being responsible for creating the crisis opened by the presence in Logroño of Polisario Front leader Brahim Ghali, and then wanting Europe to take it over. For every company that disappeared in 2020, 10 jobs were lost. ADECO estimates that for every company that disappeared in 2020, almost 10 salaried jobs were lost in the private sector, according to the labor market yearbook published Monday by the human resources consulting firm. The seer, writer and actor Octavio Aceves, who had been admitted to a hospital in Guadalajara for several days due to a kidney infection, died on Saturday at the age of 73. Aceves, who suffered from Alzheimer's, had retired from public life 2 years ago. In 2019, after confessing to having begun to notice the first symptoms of this disease, he was admitted to a nursing home. And international. Belarus sparks diplomatic row. The Belarusian regime, which sparked an unprecedented diplomatic row by ordering the detention of a European commercial flight on Sunday, stuck to its gun by defending an action that led to the arrest of a journalist critical of President Alexander Lukashenko. European Union punishes Belarus. European Union leaders have approved new sanctions on Belarus following the detention of a flight carrying journalist Roman Protasevich. They have agreed to ban Belarusian airline from the European Union airspace, ban them from landing at European airports, and ask European airlines to avoid flying over Belarus. They will also impose further sanctions against the regime. 2,500 unruly airplane passengers. Airlines have filed about 2,500 reports of unruly passengers with the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration this year, including 1,900 reports of passengers not wearing required face masks. Curious news. The largest geode in Europe. The geode of Pulpí, Almería, the largest in Europe and second largest in the world after the one located in the Mexican state of Chihuahua, offers a visit among striking gypsum crystals, with which the end of the state of alarm is once again available to discover this spectacular jewel. Sargasso Sea evolves from natural nursery to dead zone. Dramatic changes in the chemical cocktail that drives the Sargasso Sea is turning a critical nursery habitat into harmful algal blooms with catastrophic ecological impact. A Colombian Egyptologist seeks to solve a historical enigma. Elizabeth Noreña will travel to Luxor in September as part of a multidisciplinary team. Her curriculum was one of the 12 selected among the 5,000 applications received by the Institute of Ancient Egyptian Studies in Madrid. This Colombian Egyptologist from the Universidad Pontificia Bolivariana will be part of a team composed of archaeologists, anthropologists, historians, and restorers. They will travel to Luxor in southern Egypt to try to solve one of the ancient enigmas that science has not yet been able to answer. Almost 3,500 years ago, the pharaoh Akhenaten decided to eliminate all the gods of ancient Egypt and declare the sun as the only deity. It was the first case of monotheism in the West. The Milky Way was not born from a collision with another galaxy, but by gradual evolution. The Milky Way would have formed in a process of gradual evolution and not as a result of a collision with another galaxy. This would make our cosmic home a much more typical place in the universe than previously thought, according to a study published in the astrophysical journal Letters. Honoring the good. Animals to be formally recognized as sentient beings in the UK law. The government package will include halting most live animals exports and banning the import of hunting trophies. Animals are to be formally recognized as sentient beings in the UK law, for the first time in a victory for animal welfare campaigners, as the government set out a package of animal welfare measures that include halting most live animal exports and banning the import of hunting trophies. The reforms will be introduced throughout a series of bills, including an animal sensibility bill, and will cover farm animals and pets in the UK and include protections for animals abroad throughout bans on ivory and shark fins and a possible ban on foie gras. Avoiding violent attack of living beings and instead cultivating loving kindness toward them is the heart of Buddhist ethics. It is the first of the 5 moral precepts and the one you have to follow if you choose to abide by any of them. Buddha discouraged violence and advised kings to seek alternative ways of solving problems. Selling weapons is considered an inappropriate way of life for a Buddhist. Look at the Dalai Lama continued opposition to violence regarding the Tibetan independence issue. The peace activism of Vietnamese monk Thich Nhat Hanh, or the efforts of Navayana Buddhists regarding social justice in India, liberating millions of poor untouchables from the structural violence in the caste system. History is the best teacher of evil never to be repeated. New Guinea tribes killed and ate their enemies, including the little ones. The Assyrians killed and tortured all who resisted and destroyed their cities. The Greeks also killed friends and competing enemies. The Romans annihilated anyone who resisted them and raped all women. The Aztec emperor Montezuma proudly showed Cortés the altars where millions of Indians were sacrificed. The Chinese were the most sadistic when it came to torturing prisoners. Later, the Japanese surpassed their cruelty in the 20th century. The Russian communists killed and tortured millions of people. The Nazis tried to copy them. The Rwandan genocide by the Hutu-led government. The Armenian genocide by the Turks. The Cambodian genocide, Stalin, Pol Pot, Ho Chi Minh, Mussolini, Pavelik, Idi Amin, Mullah Omar, Hitler, Mao Zedong, and many more. The list of evil acts can go on and on. Nothing has changed. All the humankind has been involved in it. So, why do people find it so hard to believe in the evil of the controllers? Urgent message. The forces of light are in the midst of a major offensive to clear Chimera subway bases, according to an urgent message to the savage population from the 2012 portal of the Light Victory Intelligence Center, dated Sunday, May 23rd. Since 1996, the Chimera has captured many Pleiadians and resistance members, driving them underground, and as their last line of defense, the Chimera is now using those hostages in dark sacrificial rituals, then capturing their soul essence and forcing them to incarnate back into another cloned body which is captured as a hostage in a Chimera base, and repeating the process. This creates an immense amount of suffering, and thus the loss generated is collected and projected with the Scala technology to the surface population. This is a very difficult time for the resistance forces and the Pleiadian fleet, and they need help from the surface population. They ask as many light workers as possible to meditate as often as possible, whenever they feel led to do so that this situation can be resolved as quickly and painlessly as possible. Lunar Eclipse according to Paris Deza. The alchemical heat is on, and the possibilities for positive change are great. May 26th at 4:13 a.m. brings us a full moon total lunar eclipse, the first of two. They always travel in pairs, full moon and then new moon. This time the sun will be in the sign of Twins, Gemini, generating the energy of the magical mind, and the moon will be in the sign of Archer, Sagittarius, wanting to give birth to a great vision. It is critical to understand that the universe is orchestrating our release from all paradigmatic structures and the limiting beliefs that accompany them. It is a simple matter of evolution, and we can see that for sure by the way everything is chaotic and falling apart. Things that were hidden forever are now being revealed. UFOs, for example, are now in the mainstream news. As consciousness grows in humankind, the light on everything increases, and it is getting harder and harder for the dark beings to do what they have been doing. So don't worry about such things. Their days are numbered. We must emulate the way of the universe and let go of everything, focusing exclusively on what we want to bring to life now. Let go, be brave, trust yourself, trust the wave. What is coming this week is an opportunity to step through a revolving door into the higher frequency. The calmer we are when the big wave comes, the easier it will be to ride it. However, you choose to experience and play with this wave is up to you. No special preparation is necessary. Keep in mind that an eclipse takes about 4 hours to run its cycle. We will be bathed in transformative liquid light all that time. The key factor above all that will determine the outcome for each of us. Is our resounding yes to the world as we would like to have it. Thanks a lot, dear friends.